Bob's your Uncle Rivetor. Right.
Remember, we're on chapter 2.
Yes, we are on chapter 2.
Ooh.
We're on Chaper Twop,
Chipper
but
Twop.
gotta do that thing where move the microphone so everyone can be heard. I gotta do that thing, where I get the stream link and everything.
You do a poo.
Oh, yes.
Books.
Yeah, it starts streaming. They go, actually, hang on a minute, guys, I need to show
10
you.
seconds ago. Oh wait, hey, we're on. Yeah, oh god, I hit this guy's voice already.
What a prick.
I know.
Insufferable, really. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
probably poor as well.
Yeah, I should imagine so. And
in desperate need of money.
yeah, and just terrible morally.
Yeah.
And
Says
I
the N-word a lot.
imagine quite inadequate in the bedroom as well. It's just a vibe I get from the voice.
Mm-hmm. Probably eats children.
Yeah.
On the bright side,
undoubtedly. I mean,
on the bright
that's just
side, he
common
doesn't.
sense, isn't
He
it?
doesn't break any age consent laws. So he's a step up from Onion Boy.
Welcome to Back CREEPYPASTA. We're gonna be making fun of. Stones to Abbigale again, but you know the drill by now, guys. First things first, I gotta actually share the link around on social media.
Yeah, I'm putting it on Facebook.
Tumblr.
Haha, but pow pow
Woo!
pow.
Ha!
Haha, woo! Here comes me infant son. Right, so fucking post that in the chat. There you go.
Yes, I was asking, where's my Shad Man? Sorry, we didn't get the commission out
shit,
to him.
You know what? I forgot to credit the artist to the thumbnail again.
It's on the actual.
It's on the image. It's
Yeah, but it's so good. You
Slime Scorpion.
Slime Scorpion is the guy's name.
Not related to Slime Beast.
That's true. Now Toby is in the thumbnail, but he unfortunately had to work late, so he can't be here.
Because we all have crap jobs that all don't intersect.
Annoyingly. So he is in the thumbnail, but he's not actually on the stream.
So we're thinking of just kicking him off the series.
Yeah, I mean we'll just replace him. We were thinking of getting like a dog or something.
Yeah.
I've just started my day of work. What time is it here? It is 5 o'clock.
So quitting time for us.
BST. Because it's not GMT anymore.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
I refuse to do that.
I've put it up on the Facebook.
We've got 30 people already. 30 people have been here. Give us all your money.
No. Hello, everyone.
Just like now, we're good.
Yes, hopefully we'll have the stream sans dimensional warp this time. Yes.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah, or we'll just sort of do that again.
Mind the gap.
Or we'll just have Matt just do a stream on his own, just with him just going, mind the gap. Mind the gap. Mind the gap.
That sounds dumb. You're dumb, Gemma. Stop being dumb.
So being jump.
Yeah, Gemma dumb.
It's this new kind of thing.
Yeah.
Jump.
If you can make up stupider, fakey words,
not-
I can combine them.
That's not a thing I do.
No, it's not. Our fake words at least mean something.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Beppis doesn't mean anything.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It means Pepsi.
Pepsi means Pepsi.
He's got you there.
What does Matt mean?
It's a name.
Is it?
Yes. Oh,
That's what I tend to do when I'm I don't have an argument. I'll go, is it though? Yeah. Are you sure though? Right. Well.
And this is why you get into lots of fights.
No, I get into lots of fights because I'm contentious and I have unpopular opinions.
No, you
Also,
haven't
you
missed
just-
anything yet. Don't worry.
Also, you just keep using racial slurs on everyone.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, you
because
use the wrong racial slurs.
Well, because the thing is, Matt, I'm not racist, so therefore I don't see color. So I call the wrong.
Yeah.
So I'll call like an Asian person the N word.
Yeah.
Or a white person the P word, and then it's like, well, I'm not actually. And so they'll be like, well, I'm not actually Asian.
It's actually
And I'm
part
like,
of the
yeah,
progressive.
because you know what? Because I insulted you racially without seeing your color. So that's what the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know. I was half expecting you to start talking about the high ground or something like that.
Well, apparently Bean Daddy says he's got some fizzy juice, so we're to get this started.
Oh, fucking fizzy juice. No, diluting juice was the other one. They're not. Neither of those things are juice. You freaks. You Scottish freaks. Have you posted this on Facebook? Yeah.
Yes, I have.
All right. I think we're probably about ready to start then. So we're on chapter 2 today. So I suppose we should get down to chapter 2.
Wait, did
I
someone...
think I remember some of the voices I was doing.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
You were
does
just...
it?
Like, the only voice I remember was
James.
James.
Vincent Price was for James.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Vincent Price. It was that girl from
Oh,
Daria.
it started as Vincent Price, and then it was like
Girl from
it
Daria.
slowly slipped into the leader of the fashion club,
The leader of the fashion club.
which fluctuates between that and Chills anyway.
Yes.
As leader of the fashion club, I believe in the importance of Burger King footless.
And the other one was Davis because had a voice that sounds exactly like someone called Davis would.
Thank God a Cobe stream. I needed this, mate. Thank you, Rotten Thoughts. Well, I hope things are all right, mate. That sounds like things are not very good for you. I hope you're all right. It's not actually juice, jinx. Oh.
Thank you for using that.
No. Boys, I got myself here my crumph.
Yeah, I've got my crumb.
Got this
I will
amazing.
smack those out of your fucking hands.
Got this amazing thumbnail by Slime Scorpion. I forgot to put his Twitter in the description, but I'll stick it up at the end. And let's get cracking.
You edit and post. Good thing we're not live.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, thank God. Oh. So, by the way, right, these fucking fans of ours are such pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Wait, no, this is a stream. Fuck. Damn it, Matt. All right, so.
It is my pleasure, Gemma.
Message rejected. Okay, so
I've got my paring knife set, my needle in. Here we go.
Okay. So yeah, I just want to take another moment to say how much I love this thumbnail.
Yeah.
It's
it
absolutely
is really good.
I've now used it as one of my. I've used the.
It's not your Facebook profile picture,
Yes.
the one of you, yeah.
Yes, I have credited the person in my thumbnail. Like,
Don't rub it in. I just forgot to write it because I was writing everything else. I was writing all the social media links, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I did it.
here we are with chapter 2 of Stones to Abbigale.
Just see Mr. Hanson again.
The following morning, Mr. Hanson approached me in the hall before class started.
We picked already. Shut it down.
I immediately called the police.
Oh yeah, I
No,
remember I'm
the
doing
police
Mr.
were already
Hanson's
there.
Voice. I'm doing Mr. Hanson's voice. I remember that.
Okay.
Yes. I'm waiting for you to start.
He approached me in the hall before class started.
All right. We're supposed to talk.
He said in his usual stern voice. I responded, I know, but what about? He began gesturing with his hands, as he often did. I'm thinking of Matt's like background bit where he's just pointing randomly.
And his arms are going up in the air.
Yeah.
Like this.
No, not that part. So we're editing Gracie at the moment, and Matt. There's two moments where you see Matt in the background of a party, and one he's like gesticulating really wildly because he's in the middle of talking. There's another bit where he's just pointing his fingers really weirdly.
Yeah, the thing is,
I
like,
just like kept looping that bit. I was like, yeah, this.
yeah,
is gonna be fun.
that wasn't like me in the background overacting. That was just me having a conversation about something that annoyed me.
I think we were talking about Stargate
Or
at
Star
one
Trek,
point.
or we'll talk about something stupid in something. I think I was like, oh yeah, I was bitching about the premise of like Stargate, Ultimate, or where that other one was that wasn't Atlantis.
Infinity, was that what it's called?
The one where they're stuck on a ship or something like that.
It's
Nobody
not
watched it.
SG-1,
Nobody fucking
Atlantis,
watched it.
and then there's another one.
Yeah, and the other one that failed
it's
immediately.
it's the one with Bobby Carlyle in.
Robert Carlyle.
Yeah. No, Bobby, we're friends. I don't like to name drop him too much, but yeah, that's why I never mentioned it before.
Okay, fair enough.
He's actually a huge Bad CREEPYPASTA fan on the DL because like obviously the show's quite controversial. He doesn't like people in Hollywood don't like to talk about it, but yeah, he's a big fan on the DL.
You'd be surprised how many people in Hollywood do like our show, but
Yeah.
they, you know,
Obviously they can't say, you know.
like, but they use fake names. Looking at you, Bean Daddy,
Yeah.
or actually, really, no, Tom Cruise.
You're gonna say Tom Morgan.
No, he's too famous for us.
Tom Morgan, number one ranked player of a game no one's heard of.
Chris Helmsworth is one of our fans.
Apologise.
Oh, I believe that
Chris
was
Helmsworth. Okay, shall we fucking get on with it? He began just remember. Okay, I guess it was a habit he developed to trick people into believing he was saying something interesting. Look, people in glass houses, Greg.
You know you're a smart kid. No. You know you're a smart kid, but you keep showing up late to my classes, and it's becoming a problem.
Why is he talking like Goldman?
We did last time.
Because that's what it was meant to be.
Okay, he said, surprised he showed... Oh yeah, because it's like dogs of the FBI. Time they made a move. Surprised He said, surprised he showed genuine interest. Oh, surprised he showed genuine interest, I replied with a smirk. I'll do better in future. He continued.
All right, well, I also wanted to ask you about a TA opportunity.
I replied, you don't have a teacher's assistant? I watched a bead of sweat fall down his balding forehead as he responded.
Yeah, for a second, just to stop you for a second, when he said TA, I was like, my first thought was like, the territorial eye. What the fuck?
Well,
Is this guy American?
He was in the Air Force for like a week.
Yeah. Like, if anyone doesn't know what the territorial army is, it's like the what do they call them in America? The
So the Home Guard, I guess.
no, they got
not the Home Guard. They're like reserves. They're like
I know they got a name for it. Basically, the like weekend soldier sort of dudes.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so again, the last TA moved, and yeah, you're not always on time. You get your work done honestly and efficiently.
Yeah,
You're so handsome.
Honesty is a very important quality in your schoolwork, I guess. Just means, as in you're not plagiarizing it. I don't know.
Because he's Mr. Fax Machine.
Yeah, that's true. He is the most honest YouTuber. I asked, okay, Mr. Hansen, next semester? He authoritatively replied,
No.
National Guard, that was it. They said it, National Guard.
National Guard, thank you.
You can just take an elective class credit, and I'll let your current teacher know you'll be working with me from
You're slowly
here on.
turning into what's his name? Guy who played in fuck, I can't remember his name.
It's already begun the ruination of Matt's brain. Fucking one paragraph into chapter 2.
Guy he played the bad guy in Die Hard.
Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. Oh,
Alan Rickman.
I'll get you, James,
No.
the child rapist.
An elective class credit, and I'll let your current teacher know.
Yeah,
He's going to eventually just turn into, what was his name from Harry Potter? Snape. He's going to turn into Snape. Let's just make him Snape. Chris Hansen who's Snape at the same time.
Mr. Jackson.
It takes place in Hogwarts.
Oh no, this is not Am I Immortal, Matt.
It kind of is.
Yes, it is.
I immediately thought of the possibility of losing art class and rejected the idea. My only elective is art class right now, and I don't want to give that up, I said. He took a step back, looking offended and lost his temper. In a disgruntled tone, he said,
Art? Art class is a joke, James.
what teacher speaks to their students like this?
Tell me one person you know who's making a living painting pictures. Who's making a living painting... Oh, wait.
Any artist? Like...
I'm pretty sure.
What a fucking redundant question. All the students nearby in the hall stopped and looked towards the shouting. They realised he'd said something truly retarded and they would have power over him forever. I looked at Mr. Hansen unaffected, reminding him I would not give up. I wasn't about to sacrifice the one class I had with Abby for alone time with a sweaty, anger-prone history teacher. Mr. Hansen looked at everyone, stopped in the hall and screamed.
Oh, ha! Everyone look at Mr. Hansen. He's such a goof. Move along, kids.
Now that is a way to lose the children's respect.
Yeah.
I don't know much about teaching, but I tell you this: if you do that, you're like, oh yes, I'm making such an ass of myself. Everybody look at me in front of a load of teenagers. They will never fucking respect you.
Mm-mm.
He would get more respect by changing his name to Mr. Glasscock.
Yeah. Everyone just looked at him as he turned back to me, maintaining his clearly frustrated posture. How does one... What is...
American school system, everyone.
I've lost where I am now.
He then waddled.
Oh no.
He then waddled. Frustrated posture.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it. There we are. He then waddled into his classroom to begin class. I reluctantly entered with the remaining students to sit at my desk, which was conveniently placed within broomstick range from Mr. Hansen's desk.
What?
It's Hogwarts, yeah.
Did I not mention I'm ripping off Harry Potter?
After enduring another useless history lesson,
And
we should have been
Ron and Hermione.
We should have been learning about potions.
Hermione, what's her name? Hermione and Hermione? Yeah.
It is Hermione, yeah. Revolving around my home state of Washington. You know, I learned more about Harry Potter from playing those PS1 games than I ever did from trying to watch the movies. It was finally time for art class. I walked as fast as I could without looking too awkward. In my normal fashion, only to find Abby wasn't even in the room. I sat down in my new seat and waited, only to see everyone but her fill the room. Mrs. Stanley closed the door to our class trailer and instructed us to begin dismembering
The children.
That will make true. Did I not mention our teacher was Cenobite? For the first one, please open the puzzle box.
I began cutting the bear with a scalpel. Mrs. Stanley provided me, but my muscles seemed to work on their own as I found myself consumed with Abby again. While you're chopping something. Yeah, is this... So, does he turn into a serial killer in this, then? Because,
I was saying the first one was
because he famously said that this character, James, is the person he
wishes to be like...
Yeah, this is the better version
So,
of himself.
like...
But this is like... We've read, obviously on this channel, we've read a lot of creepypastas and a lot of serial killer origin stories. This is what this feels like.
Yeah.
It's not because, haha, Jacob being,
I was
silly.
serious last time when I was saying about
this
it. Like,
honestly feels like he's gonna go psycho.
but Jacob, does this say like, at the moment he's only stuck at a child rapist, but he really wants to jump up to the next level of depravity of being a serial killer. That's what I really want to be. I just don't have the drive to, move on from one level of evil to the next and start murdering people.
Just a short while into class, I found myself looking down at my bear, now cut into 6 pieces. See, already I have no empathy for this character.
Yeah, he's cut up a bear.
I felt like I was in a science lab dissecting an actual animal. That would be better. The most noticeable difference being that the cotton stuffing didn't look or stink of old flesh and death like real animals did.
Thank you for... I would not have known that! If it wasn't for you, Onion Boy, I would not be able to pick up that a stuffed bear filled with cotton is different than disemboweling something that was once alive. Thank you!
It's so bizarre. Again, like this is him talking about, what a real animal smells like when you cut it open. It's quite different. Like, again, this is serial killer stuff. Later that day during lunch, due to my mum not being able to afford buying me a cell phone, did someone proofread this, or did you just send it off to be published? I used a payphone to call Abby, but got no answer. I didn't feel like eating, so the rest of lunch I just sat on a bench outside, staring at people interacting with each other.
Oh yes, completely sane.
Sitting on the bench, staring into the playground, watching the children play.
Say children.
Yeah, I did say children.
The children.
Just like, yeah, Matt's been an alien. Just Jacob, I would like to use your human computer.
Your human computer. Wait, I mean your computer.
Let's go to the supermarket of food for humans and buy human food to which we ingest with our face holes.
Laney proofreads his books.
There we go. That explains everything. Just like I got those milks, Jacob, the ones you wanted. I got the oat milk for you for your porridge, and that one, the green top one, Logan likes. I think it comes from a human female. It's like, oh, thanks. Oh god, there's just anything to avoid reading this. My mum. I used a payphone to call Abby, but got no answer. They'd actually turned it into a defibrillator. I didn't feel like eating, so the rest of lunch I just sat on a bench outside, staring at people interacting with each other. I made a major effort to distract myself, knowing that focusing on what could be was mostly a waste, considering I was so powerless to influence any change at that point. Even just watching the bushes move around in the wind made more sense to me than letting worry consume me. Okay.
I want to punch him so bad.
Later that night, after I had just finished my shower, I placed the one cordless phone we had in my house next to my bed on my windowsill. I would have dialed her, but I didn't want to call more than once a day for fear of wearing out my welcome. And once a day is quite a lot as well, mate. That night, a few different calls came in, but they were all for my sister, Lisa. Her receiving a barrage of phone calls from random guys was nothing new to anyone in the house.
Is that like an offhand way of saying your sister's a slut?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, can you? I was like, that doesn't sound like Onision shaming someone. No, surely not. The normal conversation you could expect to hear Lisa take part in, with excessive projection in her voice, would almost always revolve around how stupid she thought other girls at the school were, and how this whole fucking story is projecting. It is the definition of glass houses. It's like, oh, this person's complaining about how everybody else is dumb except them. I'm like, have you read a paragraph of your own story?
Ridiculous. I
didn't want to know what she was talking about ever, but my TV volume couldn't compete with her voice. It was like she thought she was so important. Everyone around her just had to hear everything she had to say, no matter how trivial the topic. After a couple of hours, she finally stopped running her mouth, so I turned off the TV, and with it, my room faded into darkness. I welcomed the silence like a warm blanket on a cold night.
Fuck you.
Just insufferable.
As we know, the only things in his room is white walls, a single Clash.
I forgot about the
and
white
an
walls
Arctic
thing.
Monkeys poster.
I forgot about the white walls thing.
And the Arctic Monkeys poster. Let's not forget that.
It's a shame they're not padded.
They will be soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not going to get that insanity plea. He's going to jail.
He's gonna get bummed by a big man named Bubba.
Now let's just say that we're not saying rape is funny, except when it happens to Onision.
The TV couldn't be louder than her. She's speaking through a damn megaphone.
I woke up the next morning to see the phone sitting there, just like my stupid alarm clock. Useless and unbearably annoying.
Remember when he was trying to do the face of the alarm clock?
So weird. I expected it to sound off at some point, but like the clock, it failed to deliver. It was raining outside. Clouds filled the sky in normal Lakewood fashion.
Oh, good! It wasn't raining pure hydrogen.
Yes, it's
Also, it was cloudy. Now, these weren't some Michigan clouds, boys. All right.
they were.
This isn't some Camden Town clouds. These are Lakewood clouds. Extra fluffy with a side of cheese. Oh, what the fuck are you talking about?
Can you read that again, please?
It was raining outside. Clouds filled the sky in normal Lakewood fashion. I wasn't going to skate.
I'm so glad it wasn't those really irritating brick clouds we get every now and again. The rain is murder.
It's when it rains, it causes severe head trauma and death. From those clouds, it's a good job we got them because they cover up the massive hole in the sky.
And at least they filled the sky in a normal fashion.
Yeah.
They usually they just sort of sink down to the ground.
It would have been weird if they were just in single file singing Bee Gees songs. Like, what the I wasn't going to skate to school this time out of fear it would rust my skates and hinder my ability to skate fast, if even at all. Just a horrible sentence. Instead, I decided to ride the bus. Isn't that what you've been doing already?
He's like a special seat on the bus.
Yeah, you've got your poop seat on the bus.
You don't wash it because otherwise you're just gonna lose all muscle control the next day.
Pretending for only moments I really had a choice. As I climbed up the bus steps, Davis rang out, "Hallelujah! James is here to save everyone from the evil clouds." No, they're not.
What the fuck kind of you sat down and wrote this?
No, Davis, you've misunderstood. They're normal clouds. They're not evil clouds. They're normal Lakewood clouds. He hasn't explained what normal Lakewood fashion means. Like normal Lakewood fashion, they're made of fire.
You need to wind up the window, not let them in. It's those clouds that they disguise themselves as normal clouds, but they're actually made of thousands and thousands of spiders.
Yeah, no, the evil clouds are the ones that they go around and they make everyone inside out. The Simpsons.
Just one whiff of that fog. I genuinely smiled for the first time that morning, thanks to him.
Can we also say about what Davis, his best friend, quote cocksucker, just said? You were like, were you feeling down that day you wrote it? You needed a fucking ego boost.
Davis.
God. I genuinely smiled. As usual, I sat next to the window, but I made sure the window was rolled up so the fiery clouds couldn't get in.
That's me saving everyone from the evil clouds.
Davis courteously always offered me. Because it was the only seat that I could sit in because it was covered in my feces.
It's like a blast zone, but instead of burn marks, it's another kind of streaky marks. You didn't miss much.
The beginning of history class was the same old story. As usual, I barely paid attention. I just thought of Abby and hoped she was okay. Interrupting my thoughts of Abby came a very rude outburst by Jason. Can we go in a bit closer? Well, that's far too close. Okay. Yeah, that's better. I think that's the same as it was to begin with. I just got greedy. I was like, yeah, it's whoa, 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 whoa.
Do you think someone else pointed out? Like, do you think Davis is just his like weird self-homosexual fantasy about himself? It's like, I love myself more than anything else, but I can't be gay to myself. I just like Davis.
Sounds like close door.
Funny if his name was Jackson.
Inches away from Jason's nose. But that didn't stop him from staring. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. I am in the wrong place. It's just
you mean in life or?
Well, yes, because I'm doing this, but I was like 3 fucking paragraphs ahead because that's just wishful thinking. The beginning of okay, as usual, I better pay attention.
We've got 100 years.
Outburst by Jason. It was odd to hear his voice, as I wasn't supposed to see him till art class. He stood outside our closed class door. A closed door would be fine. We know you're in class. You've just said that twice. Waving his hands in hopes of disrupting us. It was clearly for no real reason more meaningful than a toddler would have to... It was clearly for no real reason more meaningful than a toddler would have in invoking chaos around their immediate environment. Just proofread. Proofread your sentences and go, well, that's really clunky. Some people just want to get an emotional reaction to their behavior. Some people, Greg.
Some people have an education and learn how to write like a normal human being. Others
James
take that education
and throw it
away.
James had got his high school diploma. He chopped it up into bits. He'd been throwing it away. Some people just want to get an emotional reaction to their behaviour so they can feel a sense of power or control. Jason began banging on the door. So Mr. Hanson, it's never going to get old. Mr. Hanson walked over and opened the door and asked,
"Where are we?"
Mr. Hanson just walks into class. Where are we? Mr. Hanson, you okay? What year is this? It's like that's why he was like, "Oh, Mr. Hanson's such a goof." I'm like, "Yeah, Mr. Hanson, you need to go home. You're not well. You're on sabbatical. Remember, like
it's either that or it's a really shitty episode of Quantum Leap. He just jumps into a teacher, like Ziggy says, you need to kill Onion Boy over there. Make the world a better place.
Why aren't you in class?
Jason responded, saying,
That's me as well.
Were you Jason? Okay.
Yes. That's it.
The toy maker.
Got kicked out. What's up? Go stand outside your class till it's over.
Mr. Hanson commanded. Jason rebelliously replied,
Don't tell me what to do, fatty.
Okay, and that's why you shouldn't say things like, haha, I'm such a goofball in front of the students, because then shit like this happens. This was all avoidable. I could see Mr. Hanson was about to lose it, so I interrupted. No one wants you here, Jason. Mr. Hanson looked back at me with a look of surprise. He seemed shocked. People paid. We didn't, but people paid for this book. He seemed shocked. I would say anything on his behalf. Jason became extremely silent. Now, extremely silent. So how little noise was he making once he hit 0, which is silent? How much less noise was he making?
Like all his internal organs and like brain, it all just went silent. In fact, he was like exuding a field of silence out. Like it just kept going around and absorbing all sound around it. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Well, it means nothing. That's what it means. It's fucking bullshit. Now refusing to look anywhere but at me. This is just how Onision sees the world. Just everybody's always looking at me. Look, 17 and a half is not illegal. And a half. You know that what you're doing is dodgy if you have to say and a half about somebody's age. Has everyone seen Onion Boy's new videos? Fucking ridiculous. Mr. Hanson looked back at me with a look of surprise. Okay, Jason became extremely silent.
Do you think he just envisages the world around a spotlight is always on himself?
100%. I think anybody who, got like quote unquote famous, particularly for like, vlogs and stuff when they were young, sees the world that way. But particularly when you have like narcissistic personality disorder. His glare was intense, but it seemed so forced. Like he wasn't really offended, but didn't want to look weak in front of everyone else.
You did that earlier.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
No, I'm just saying, like, because he
made
himself...
No, I'm saying in the story.
Yeah.
This happened earlier.
He made himself look weak in front of everyone else earlier.
Yeah. Mr. Hanson then closed the door inches away from Jason's nose, but that didn't stop him from staring intensely through the vertical window slot in the door. He remained so still and consistent in his stare. It was almost as if he'd become a red-faced, almost cartoonish portrait hanging on the door. There's just so many of the same words here. Again, it's like almost.
Look out, he's going to throw a jar of piss at Onion Boy.
As class came closer to an end, Jason was no longer staring at me and wasn't even visible from my perspective. No one is, unless it's your reflection or a 17-year-old girl. Knowing Jason had something left to prove, many of the students naturally assumed. Sorry, I should say someone who's not 17 yet, but you're just waiting till they are. You Drake-ass motherfucker. Knowing Jason had something left to prove, many of the students naturally assumed he was somewhere within the immediate vicinity. I could tell most everyone was concerned as they kept looking back at me, wondering what I was going to do about the clearly unstable and enraged jock that no doubt was still lurking just outside of our door. Every kid in there knew I couldn't just hide out in the class. I was sure this was some kind of victory for Mr. Hansen. He knew I wouldn't have this immediate problem had I accepted his offer to TA for him. Explain how.
Well, clearly, Mr. Hansen's clearly an evil mastermind who's planned this all out. So dumb. If you came into this completely blind of Onision's many onion-based flaws, and we're just reading this, you'd be like, "Where is this garbage?" You could have if you had never told me about him, and we just read this, I would think we were just reading a creepypasta,
just
and waiting for this is a setup where he's gonna throw acid in this guy's face, even though it's not central London, or do something to him, and then he's gonna snap and kill him and become Onion the killer, Shrek the killer, because Onision's got layers like an ogre.
My decisions led me to this. Yes, they did. They led you to a courtroom where you wore a bulletproof vest.
Backwards.
I built a doorway to certain destruction, and I knew if I was going to be brave, I had to walk through it. Into the courtroom. I didn't have time to deal with hesitating once class was over. Seeing Abby was my real priority. I really don't like the way he writes. I didn't have time to deal with hesitate. Just stuff like this. It just sounds horrible. Abby was my real priority. I walked out with the class just like I normally did, only this time. Again, just...
With my pants out.
Look, you can use punctuation. There's a comma right after the word behind, so I know you can use punctuation, so why aren't you? I walked out with the class just like I normally did, only this time Jason was following close behind, as I'm sure most everyone assumed he would.
Gemma, why did you just laugh like Snidely Whiplash's dog and Muttley?
I was about
Well, we've been meaning to tell all our patrons that, in fact,
I thought Muttley was Dick Dastardly's
Yeah,
dog.
I thought it was as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, Jacob isn't actually his real name. It is Dick Dastardly.
I was about to leave
They were in the Wacky Races.
the main building.
Someone fan art that.
What was the... Was the guy Snide, whatever the hell his name was, from the space one?
No, Snidely Whiplash was from
Dudley
Dudley
Do-Right.
Do-Right.
Dudley Do-Right.
Yeah.
Because there was a space one as well. And the bad guy, it was like Wacky Races, but it was in space. And the bad guy was also like a superhero called Captain Good, and he would press a little button and he would change between the two personalities.
I don't know what that is.
Are you?
Oh God! Did I fucking make that up?
I think.
Oh God! I'm looking that up, guys. I'm sorry. We're just gonna forget about Stones to Abbigale for a moment.
Isn't it weird that...
Sorry that Five Nights at Freddy's is there. That is entirely Gemma's fault.
Isn't it weird that Dick Dastardly had two... He had a Wacky Races and that Catch the Pigeon one.
That's definitely Captain Good. That
looks fake.
Yeah, but that's how he looked though, with the
He
jaw.
looks like
and
the guy
everything.
from Megamind.
That's it. That's one. That's the actual screenshot from
Yogi
the show.
Space Race.
Yogi Space Race. Oh, I didn't dream it.
I don't even know what the fuck that is. What the
don't know.
fuck is Yogi Space Race?
All right, guys, we're
Taking a break. It's only half hour in, but we're taking a break already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently reading the book with one of my friends who does
Yeah, and there was a shark in it and shit.
Yeah, that's Jabberjaw.
Oh yes, I know these people.
Yeah, okay, so...
And this guy, this motherfucker,
Space Dick Dastardly.
That's Space Dick Dastardly.
So
I never realised that...
he would, and that's the same character.
Oh, wait, they hit a button and they'd transform into...
Yeah, so he would change between the two personalities.
I did, like, this is news to me. Like, I reckon, like...
He was the first superhero with dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah,
this was
Jabberjaw and everything.
Yeah, this was before, Charlie Kaufman's brother wrote The Three. If anybody gets that reference, it's a good...
Do you remember back when Hanna-Barbera cartoons were always a bunch of teens hang out with something weird?
Yeah, because basically Scooby-Doo was successful.
Yeah, so then there was like Jabberjaw, that Doom Buggy one, the one about the gene... I can never remember...
Huckleberry Hound.
We've gone from above 100 to below 100 just from talking about Yogi Space Race. Fucking boomers talking about these shitty boomer cartoons. I just want to see some onions get sliced.
I can never remember the name of the genie one. I can only remember when Kevin Smith was talking about it, he called it Weenie Hungry Genie. His catchphrase was "Give me cock." And they were like, "No, we're not going to put that on there."
And then there was Snagglepuss.
Yeah, no, but I'm just thinking of all the shows that was essentially just knockoffs of Scooby-Doo.
I liked Snagglepuss. That was a good show.
Because that was the first openly gay...
Yeah. And
Exit stage right,
and
even.
he was the same voice as the Funky Phantom, which was another one of those rip-offs of Scooby-Doo, where they just hung out with a ghost.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he had the same personality as Snagglepuss. He even did the even thing. Yeah. Like, it was the same character.
I completely forgot about the only thing I can remember about Funky Phantom was when he appeared in Harvey Birdman. Like, why are you calling me so funky? Why are they calling me so funky? And it starts being a music video.
Harvey Birdman's brilliant.
Can we just read like Harvey Birdman fan fiction?
I
or
don't
something?
think the word inches was just highlighted. I just think just 5 inches of my dick.
Oh.
Apparently talking about Funky Phantoms made us go up to 170.
Yeah, so what we've discovered is the public has lost its taste for Yogi's Space Race, but the Funky Phantom, that's where the real shit is.
He is pretty funky.
Yeah, I was saying like the Five Nights at Freddy's thing. My friend who's called the Patrician of Horror. I'm reading being one of the characters in that book in a story he's doing on his channel. So I said I would do it for him, but I'm not a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's. But I'm having to read the book because I'm doing him a favour.
I genuinely don't remember where we were.
I didn't have time to deal with hesitating.
So he
down.
just left the classroom, and Snagglepuss and the weenie, cock hungry weenie genie is after him.
You didn't miss much. We were talking about the Funky Phantom.
Seeing Abby was my real priority. How did we get from this to fucking Dick Dastardly and then Space Dick Dastardly?
Someone made a comment.
And Captain Good.
And then he called you Snarly Whiplash. And then you would talk about something that didn't exist until
I proved that it did.
No, it never existed until you willed into existence.
By my sheer mental agility. Right. I walked out with the class just like I normally did. Okay. I'm sure most everyone assumed you would. I was about to leave the main building to head over to the art trailer, only to feel a hand grab my shoulder. The hand slipped as I pulled away, nails scraping along my skin to clamp on my shirt. I was then yanked swiftly back from the main hall door. It began. They handcuffed me and put me in the back of the car.
Mr. Hansen took off his mask and he was Chris Hansen all along.
I yanked my shirt aggressively out of his hand and clutched my now scratched up shoulder. I was now facing Jason, who immediately lunged at me and threw me into the already half-broken hall door just behind me. I bounced back from the impact and pushed Jason in the center of his chest to distance him from me, so I could continue walking away. Without hesitation, he used my response to justify further violence and began throwing punches. I was knocked to the ground within seconds and he began trying to pull off my backpack. Luckily, he didn't realize that behind that was my backwards bulletproof vest. Resulting in me being briefly dragged across the floor like a helpless child. Well, not like a helpless child.
You are a helpless child.
Like the helpless child I am.
The helpless children that I...
Yeah. It's like, dragging me along the floor like a helpless child, and I should know. I was now a couple yards away from the door I was trying to leave through. I twisted away to return to a standing position while simultaneously snatching my backpack back so hard that it flew out of my hands and smacked the door behind me, leaving a huge crack in the glass. I could hear glass falling off the door behind me. People began to tear around... Where did I get this word tear from? People began to gather around us. Fucking real Rich Evans hours. And like a chemical reaction, they began screaming just as they did before.
I didn't realise the chemical reactions scream.
Yeah. Well, some do, I guess. Some chemical reactions cause loud screaming sounds, but how the... It's a stupid thing to say, though, isn't it? Like,
you see, if you just pour these two chemicals, you make... "Arr!" You see, it's a screaming chemical.
much of what was happening was a blur. But I remember they would scream every time Jason hit me throughout the irrefutably one-way fight. It quickly... I like that this, again, is the version of Greg that he wishes he was, and he still gets his ass beat.
Yeah.
Well, what at the moment is...
And it's not even like he's being a pacifist. He's called it a one-way fight. Like, yeah, we were fighting, but I was getting my ass kicked. This is the version of me I wish I was. An enormous pussy.
Well, this is also autobiographical at this point. This is like, well, this is what actually happened.
It was like, this is the
Do you
part
think
of
this
him
is
they
all
wishes he was.
Except in real life, they weren't screaming, they were cheering. And this wasn't high school, this was last week.
Do you think this is all essentially just like his, like basically a autobiography, but how he wished it went in college like that? Oh, there's this girl Abby. She was so young looking, and then we fell in love, but you know that never actually happened, did it, Greg?
Well, I would say this is the person he wishes to be. You know, this kind of person, you know, massive pussy, but being able to lust after teenage girls without any issues.
Yeah. Do you like teenage girls, Greg? Now, when you say teenage...
So how old are you thinking?
How old are you talking? I'm fighting for my life.
My kid!
Kids, I got chained up in my basement.
Trapped in the closet.
Maybe they could share a cell.
And R. Kelly can piss on him.
Yeah.
But
And he can be like, drinks like kombucha and smells even worse. Well, R. Kelly's just doing a wee on him.
Asking people for money.
Yeah. And fucking Drake's just like, I'm somehow not in jail. This is great.
And so remix to Ignition. I'm going to the kitchen.
Shh. You want to get sued?
I made up my own lyrics though.
That won't stop him.
Kai was in the other room crying and getting peed on by R. Kelly.
Oh God! Where are we? I don't
know.
I quickly got to the point.
So Greg's getting beaten up by R. Kelly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jason's R. Kelly now.
Yeah. Okay.
It got quickly to the point where I didn't even feel the punches.
Can you say the idea of R. Kelly beating the shit out of Greg? Like, first time I've ever thought positive R. Kelly.
It's just like, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. There's only one nonce. Yeah, this is a one nonce town, my boy. Lakewood.
What do you mean this is a one nonce time?
Just starts beating on Onision. You will not fuck anyone under 16 again, do you understand?
They're mine!
That's my job. And starts pissing on him.
Thank you, Tyrant.
Tyrant, is that Kawanga? Oh, like Mega Man. Tyrant Kawanga. God, this is so funny. Yeah, it's funny because we're not talking about the story. I mean, that's where we are. Basically, my man. Like, we're just fucking...
We're going to start talking about Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Remember the Flintstones?
No, Matt, I don't remember the most famous Hanna-Barbera cartoon of all time.
Oh, really? Let me remind you.
Captain
You see, also, really funny enough, they said during the opening, they said, we're going to have a gay old time because, but you might not know this, because back when it was actually originally done, gay meant happy.
My God, Matt, it
wasn't talking about that Barney and Fred were going to go fuck each other in the ass.
I can't because we're screen sharing, but I really now, there's a part of me that, and it's my penis is the part of me. I really want to look up Barney and Fred Rule 34 now. So I'm gonna do that after the stream. And maybe beef to it if it's really good. That's how I like my men, just like flat and square. Just like...
Barney has no neck. I don't know how, I'm not an expert on sucking dick, but that may help or hinder him in some way.
Matt, you say you're not an expert, but I've never heard any complaints. Okay, so let's get back to the because
you know Barney will be the bottom of that relationship.
Yeah, of course. Oh, hey, Fred. I was wondering if you could take your dick out of my ass. 5 seconds, Fred. I was trying to do Barney. It just sounds like Chris Morse. What the hell? Is this gay sex?
Am I having gay sex with Fred Flintstone, or is this a dream? Fan up, please. Right, we're gonna have to. Right.
This irate gamer just getting fucking reamed by Fred Flintstone. It's like raw docking him in a cave. Like...
That's why you can see the amazing kazoo.
Right, so people, please donate plenty of super chat because we're gonna hire Shadman for this commission.
It's like, guys, we're putting a new Patreon stretch goal. The thing getting stretched on the stretch goal is Chris Bores' ass. It's like, what the hell? Caveman Viagra.
It quickly got to the point.
It's 11.
So, Chris Bores is a male prostitute in the Flintstones. It's a living. But then we lost like 10 people with this tangent. I was like, nope, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Oh god, people began to get their okay.
Chris Moore's holes.
Oh god, my nose began bleeding. I could only hear them laugh and yelling. Jason swung again and again. I kept falling over and over, but every time I would return to stand, only to fail at defending myself from further blows. I didn't block a single hit. Again, this is the person that Greg wishes he was, a guy who can't even block a single punch in a fight. I didn't even throw one punch at him.
No, wait, because this means he has the moral high ground. So when he tries to jump over him...
Yeah, but the way it's written, it suggests that he didn't throw a punch because he didn't get... The window of opportunity never popped up. It was just like hopelessly one-sided. As my nose began to bleed, one of the boys my sister was friends with, Matthew, grabbed me and pulled me out of the fight. He was twice my size, but was also on Jason's football team, so naturally he did nothing to help me win. The only thing he offered me was an end to the beating I was suffering. Shortly after the fight ended, I found myself sitting on a mattress in the nurse's office, not allowed to leave, not allowed to do anything but think about what happened. Despite everything, in my head feeling scrambled and disorganized, there was Abby. Oh, God. Abby, the girl with no...
creepy fuck!
The girl with no personality who spent the entire... All we know about her is she doesn't like her dad and she cops off with big fucking butch Seth. Waiting in the same place. Just as she sat in the back of the class, she radiated...
Big butch Seth.
Warmly.
Terror of the ladies.
She radiated warmly.
In the back of my mind. No, that's brain damage from the beating you just took.
That is just a swelling.
As lunch approached, Principal Lehman came into my room...
Lehman Russ.
I came into the room. Sorry, I'm still on all the...
It's a giant space marine.
I think I'm still a little bit horny from all the Fred Flintstone stuff. I was staying in at the
like
nurse's
you're sitting there, like you're wondering, you're just thinking of like that fan art that Sunday of Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, like spit roasting the irate gamer between them.
R. Kelly watching from the nearby closet.
Dressed as Batman.
Urine's like seeping out the closet from the bottom.
Now this is what I call the Bam Bam.
This is Greg's fucking friend scooping the piss up in a jar. I responded.
So was just the question was just what? So I reckon he just turned out. What a fucking time to turn.
What?
It's like, oh great, Onision's book, that'll be a laugh. Just like Fred Flintstone
and Barney Rubble.
Balls fucking deep in the irate game. There is this channel has entirely too much deep lore at this point.
It's like, damn it, Gemma,
it's
stop
like
encouraging
you can't.
them.
There's no reason to subscribe at this point. You'll never catch up. Like we can only keep the fans we already have. Like we can't get anyone new at this point. It just is.
Well, my tooth is chipped. Cope.
Well, my tooth is chipped. My chin hurts. My face is bruised, and I just got humiliated in front of my peers.
And I smell like piss.
Mr. Lehman said,
Well, I've got multiple statements saying you pushed him. What's your response?
You pushed him, like sitting there, swollen up fucking, like, I'm sitting there looking like fucking Rihanna.
Chris Brown came at me.
Yeah, it's just, you're like, I heard you pushed him. I've got half a tooth. What the... What skull is this that he go? Is this the skull from The Wall?
Right, so people who live in America, is this something that happens? Like, you know, you get pushed, you beat the ever loving shit out of them, and you were in the right.
What's your response?
Ow!
I replied, I pushed him back after he pushed me first. All I did was push him back once, and then he did this to my face.
He's slowly turning into Trump.
I made a...
Crooked Hillary.
It began as fucking Vincent Price, then he got kind of leader of the fashion club. But yeah, and at this point, I'm just like, he beat me up. Everybody, all of Jason's friends, all of his crooked friends, like Pocahontas, came out in support.
Okay, so it's not even actual Trump. It's like cartoonish Trump.
Yes.
Cartoon Trump. And he's not even a teenager, he's just a guy, still adult Trump, being beaten up by a jock who might be a foot shorter than him.
Okay,
The Wall is such a good old Matt 2020 Macca. I was beaten up by this very low IQ person. His friends all deserve to be shot.
I'm going to use my Death Note that I just got recently.
I love that. I love that so much.
I sent you, I found that picture of, like, from the new, what's going to be, like, the new Death Note.
I got hairy legs. Bold words.
someone about to choke to death on his own cock.
Well, what's happening to me? Why am I running for the leader of the Democrat Party? I've clearly got senile dementia.
There's a picture of me kissing my granddaughter on the lips.
Oh, this is spiraling. This is spiraling so badly. I don't know if how will the stream ever recover? 2020 here. Here's how Toby can still win.
Barney
Cobe.
Oh, I don't know where I am.
I made a circular motion.
Oh yeah, I made a circular motion around my face, showing how one-sided the fight way. This was published! Come on, man! Fucking... You didn't post this on Creepypasta Wiki. You expected people to pay for this. Proofread your shit. I know you're busy grooming underage children, but if you could take 5 minutes out of your nonsing schedule to proofread your shit... and, I don't know, rewrite the overwhelming majority of it, we wouldn't fucking be here.
That's such a sad noise she made.
Fight way.
One-sided the fight way. Principal Lehman said in a commanding voice.
Well, he's suspended for 10 days.
He paused, and I felt relief, assuming the principal was on my side, as makes sense, because you were beaten up for no reason. But then he continued.
You will be suspended for 2 days.
I was surprised that they would suspend someone just for pushing back when they are pushed. So am I. This would never happen. What was I supposed to do? Just ignore being assaulted?
What the hell?
If school...
Also, okay, so what school you suspended for pushing? Like, if I pushed him into, like, I don't know, oncoming traffic or a glass, like window or something like that, but... Like,
it was very hard to get suspended at my school. Like, you would never get suspended for fighting unless you, like, put a kid in the hospital.
Like... Yeah, you like in my school's like if you push someone, that just means like you're like they would have actually said roughhousing because that's like the term I've only heard Americans say, but like you're just dicking around. Yeah. Like you're pushing, then you push back. That like you're not gonna get suspended. All this other pansy. Oh wait, I see it. It's because it's a nation's point of view. Pansy world for a pansy boy.
Oh yes, of course, for an absolute fucking nonce, yeah.
Yeah, literally, there was a kid at my school who threw a chair at a teacher, and he didn't get suspended.
Yeah. The only time I remember a kid getting suspended for fighting was when he beat a kid up so bad he had to go to hospital and his face got all swollen up.
Like this situation.
Like this. But no, he actually ended up in hospital. It was a horrible beating he gave him, and he got suspended for that. And he was suspended
for 2 days.
And he wasn't suspended for fucking 10 days. He was suspended for, I think he was suspended for a week, 5 days. He managed for it. And of course, you don't come in the weekends anyway. And then he had detention when he got back. That was it. Most of the time, the fight would just get broken up, and if the fight was particularly vicious, you would get detention.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
You went to a shit
and
school.
I went to a really good school. What was I supposed to do? Just ignore being assaulted. School is meant to teach us how to survive in the real world. Why do people think this? Like, that is not what school is. School teaches you how to do fucking calculus. It doesn't teach you how to survive in the real world.
Basic education.
Yeah. And in the real world, you are legally allowed to defend yourself in a court of law when you're accused of child molestation. How could they justify this punishment? I mean, she was 17 and a half. It wasn't illegal. Principal Lehman informed me I could finish up the day and not return for the following 2 days.
You should at least be grateful for that. Jason was escorted off school grounds entirely.
Well, yeah, he's broken my tooth in half and swollen my head up.
So you can. I'm gonna do you a favour. You can spend the rest of the day like fucking no.
It's like I'm going home.
I've been savagely beaten.
I'd quite like medical attention, actually.
You're like when your teeth, like you've got permanent damage from a cracked tooth, or was it chipped tooth? Like I should probably go make an appointment with a dentist or something like that.
Yeah. My school kids would just get warnings unless someone got hurt really badly. Yeah, pretty much. Like it, you know.
To be fair,
No, someone's right. Someone's like, right, Mary. This is the whole. So was it sympathy, Sue?
Yeah.
Like, feel sorry.
Yeah, sympathy, Sue.
Mm-hmm. Feel sorry for him at the moment, but you're gonna think he's awesome later.
Principal Lehman stared at me sitting there, helpless and about to break down.
Okay then, see you again in a few days.
He said and quickly walked out. All I could focus on feeling in that moment was the tacky ice pack on my face. Why is it tacky? Did it have like a big smiling face on it and loads of love hearts or something?
Yeah,
what was tacky about
it's
it?
bright green and got little smiley faces on it and hearts. Oh.
So you hang in there.
And a sinking feeling of worthlessness. It's not something I like to admit, but the truth is I cried seconds after Principal Lehman left the room. This is the version of himself he wishes he was. A kid that cries that loses fights and cries.
Mm-hmm. And shits on the
like
bus.
how shit are you that this is your ideal version of yourself? I mean, at least it's realistic. Do you know what I mean? He's not like... Well, the story isn't realistic, but you know what I mean? It's not like...
He didn't ninja flip over the kid.
He's not perfect. He's like, the ideal version of me is 6'4", incredibly muscular and really popular. So no, the ideal version of me is like me, a bit less of a cunt, but still a huge pussy. And still behaves like a serial killer. So, I mean... I guess
on the bright side, he hasn't been going on about fucking Abbigale for the last 20 minutes. Like, even when I was suspended, I thought I could use that time to think more about Abbigale and how her skin would feel when I peeled it off her body.
You sound like Cartman.
I'm going to make Jason pay for it. Yeah.
The type of cry.
Oh, God, do I have to read this bit? The type of cry you suppress, but your eyes still become red. This was published. People paid for this book.
You know, like, even if you don't have a proofreader...
You suppress.
Even if you don't have a proofreader, you can find just a...
eyes still become red.
Even if you have a proofreader, you can just find a text-to-speech device and stick it in there.
Grammarly!
Yeah,
Grammarly
Grammarly would probably fix this. Your body trembles and painfully hot tears still... When have you ever... I mean, I was gonna say, Matt, when have you ever cried? But you'll probably say childhood. But like Gemma, as an adult,
I've never cried.
Gemma, as an adult human female, when you cry, are the tears ever like physically like hot, like scalding water or whatever? Like, is that a thing?
No, like they're
doesn't.
They can be hot because your face is hot.
But like, surely they're just like your body temperature, right?
If they were painfully hot, they would
they'd probably damage your eyes when they came out.
Also, if they were hot, it would do what water does, and it would turn into steam on your face. Like if it was, they would absorb into your skin if it was hot. You know, it's a ridiculous metaphor. Someone who cries often.
Yeah, I imagine if you had scalding hot tears, then that's probably like some sort of like evolutionary like defect. Where oh hey, you remember all those monkeys that would cry hot tears and went blind? Yeah, they didn't survive, to like breathe much.
It's like I was crying painfully hot tears to the point where I was able to make tea with it.
It was a type of sadness that made it. But that sounds delicious. Tear tea.
What would you drink? Onion Boy tear tea?
You're fucking right. I would.
Is it the scalding hot tears of when he's been carted off to jail?
Yeah.
And you start to never found out.
Luckily, his friend who catches his pee is with a different sterile jar catching the tears, and that's what I'm going to use to make my tea.
Okay, I've said I've been talking about fan art. Like if another fan art option like Onision being dragged away to prison. With Jacob, with a teacup underneath his face, catching his scalding hot tears.
Well, wouldn't it be French onion soup if he tries tea? It'd be like soup.
No, because he's just got a head like an onion, I imagine. Well, right, so you know Parappa Rapper? Do you remember the guy who's like, kick, punch, it's on the mind? That's his dad. That's Onion Boy's dad.
My son makes YouTube videos. He is a big disappointment.
Kick,
Gemma,
punch, send him to jail.
Gemma, as a person of Scottish descent, I'm keen to visit Scotland someday. Do you have any recommendations of places that I should see?
Well, you see,
Yes.
there's the big statue where you can buy all that drugs.
You should see. I'm just going to go quickly.
All that drugs. Did you proofread this book, man?
All that drugs.
They've only got the one in Scotland.
And then I would definitely recommend you going to Islay. I recommend you going to Aberdeen. I'd recommend you going to Aviemore. I'd recommend you going to Ayrshire. I'd also recommend you going to Glasgow and Stirling.
Any
And
reason? What's there?
These are all really nice places to go.
Yeah.
And also, I would also recommend Edinburgh as well. I would not recommend you going too far up northeast. The northwest. And I also recommend you going to see Fort William, Ben Nevis, Glencoe. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, and regarding fan art, you can send it to Jacob and myself directly on Facebook or Twitter, or you can or Instagram. You know, it's much easier to get directly.
Also, if you are going to Scotland, remember you need to bring your own colour. They don't have any.
Yeah, no, I lived in black and white until
Yeah.
I moved down here. It was a very interesting.
Oh, what is this? Why is the sky not grey?
What is it you're doing?
I'm adding a picture because I think the text is a little boring to look at for everyone. So I'm just going to pop this in the corner. Because I really like this picture.
You need to get like some gifs of like a dancing monkey in this corner or something like that.
Matt Tyree, if you've got Twitter,
get that little,
or anything like
the
that,
dancing
you
banana
can
gif.
Send
remember
me
that?
messages on there, and I can give you more information on where you want, like I could give you more information on places to go, because obviously I've just given you ballparks. So story.
Yeah, let's get cracking with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were making fun of.
It was a type of
It
sadness.
was a type of sadness that made a person ache to their core, but you do your best to hold on, to not lose yourself to your emotions, like you would so carelessly do as a child. You see, children are not in control of their emotions,
Gay.
and children are so easily manipulated. Wait, what was I talking about? Chris Hansen, what are you doing in my house? I'm calling the police.
Oh, hey, did you know that Onision was in a video game?
No.
Yeah, he was a boss in Cuphead. Look.
Crying
I know he was in a horror movie though.
Beautiful. He was. Yeah, Onion Boy's in an actual horror movie, and we probably will make fun of it on the channel.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So anyone doesn't know, there's a giant crying onion in Cuphead as a boss.
Let's see. Would you like me to read for a bit?
Can do. I mean, I'm happy to keep reading. It's up to the chats.
Would you like Cobe to read or me to read for a bit?
I'll read the next paragraph while they're voting.
Yeah.
I sat in the room alone till I could collect myself. Shortly after I gathered my stuff and proceeded to finish my classes for the day, I also asked a couple of my teachers about any work I would miss so I could keep up while I was suspended, but didn't have the motivation to stop by every single class before leaving the school entirely. Nice big run-on sentence there. Lovely.
Jacob.
Only says in 3 movies. That's fucking mental.
How many movies have you been in? Loads more. You win. Oh, I've also got one of Onision's dad. Jacob?
Oh yes, Miss Master Onion. Very good. Yeah, I mean, like Onion Boy's in Onion Boy's in quite a few.
Gay pornos.
Quite a few movies. Yeah, 3. But I mean, I'm aware of like this terrible horror movie he was in. Oh, stream's apparently stopped. It's not stopped for it's green. So let's try and find out what's happened.
Not stopped for it's green. It's back now.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. The boogaloo is on, guys. Let's
The
fight
boogaloo.
Let's fight our government.
So Gemma can read as long as she reads what's actually on the page and doesn't make up crazy words, or maybe she should. We're all back, yeah?
I'll say we make Jacob read. it's more painful for him.
But I don't think anyone cares, do they? Who reads?
No, they don't.
Do you want to swap seats with me then?
Yep.
Because I'm gonna nip out of the room for a second and get a snack or something.
All right, cool.
It's gonna eat a dick.
Okay, where are we? Sat in the room alone. No, as I was about to get the bus home, that's where I am.
I'm gonna get myself a snack.
Yeah, Gemma's had bad experiences with getting the bus home.
Yeah.
Wait, you want to go where?
Yeah. It's like, did I fucking stutter?
That's what you wish you said.
I know, that's what you said.
That's what I would have said. Are you sure you want to sit in there, Gemma? Because that looks like it's going to fuck your leg up.
Mm.
If you're allowed cracking noises, it's Gemma re-breaking her foot.
Yeah, okay. Alright, okay. As I was about to get on the bus home, I looked over to see Abby again in the parking lot with her boyfriend, Seth.
MacFarlane.
They were standing by...
Seth Green.
Seth Green or Seth MacFarlane. They were standing by his car. This time, they were not showing affection. In fact, she seemed like she wasn't even willing to look at him, despite him clearly and aggressively speaking to her. Without a second's thought, I shifted away from the bus and began walking over to Abby to see if she was okay. The more I could hear Seth's tone as I approached...
Also, Seth Rogen.
As I approached, the more worried I became.
I just typed in Seth, and there's a whole list of, Seths.
Alright.
Let's read off. Who could it be? Just read down the list of Seths it can be.
Seth Meyers, Seth MacFarlane, Seth Rogen, Seth Rollins, Seth Green, Seth Lakeman, Seth Curry.
I know only about half those people.
Yeah. Seth reacted to me like a guard dog in a ghetto-fenced yard. What? Seth reacted to me like a guard dog in a ghetto-fenced yard once he realised I was heading towards him. He puffed out his shoulders and glared at me in attempts to look intimidating. Abby remained upset. It seemed like she was emotionally unable to look anywhere but the ground. Puffed out his shoulders and a guard dog in a ghetto-fenced yard. Oh.
That lovely. Also, I can't remember what did he say he looked like, because I like to imagine he looks like this guy from Street Fighter 4.
Oh, that guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Seth from Street Fighter 4.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a giant naked robot man thing.
I can't really say this. I can't do the rest without Cobe being here. Oh, I'll
Seth Armstrong from.
All right, Cobe, it's time.
Right, open a tab
Uh-huh.
and look up Seth Armstrong of Emmerdale, because that's what he looks like.
All right, Seth Armstrong.
That's the character.
That's
right?
all right.
You can do it on the PC so everyone can see.
Mhm.
She's not going to do it. She refuses to.
All right. Okay, Seth. Okay, Seth Armstrong. All right.
Seth Armstrong off Emmerdale. That's who I want everybody to picture, because as a child, I was always reminded, because my grandma used to watch Emmerdale.
Okay, someone just put this Star Trek Deep Space
I was
Nine
always
randomly. What are you
reminded
talking about?
of. I loved this character, and I was always reminded
That's...
of the telephone man in Link's Awakening. Whenever he was on screen.
Look at the face, though.
just like macking on like a 14-year-old girl. Clearly, it's like his This was this before he'd like really let loose. So this is like his repressed intentions.
Look how there's like him there. They turned him into a scarecrow. Oh my god. There we go. Cope.
Hang on, I'm getting a sandwich.
He's just having
Okay.
having wank.
Right. I am death. I'm so death machine. Impersonate Cope. I can't really do that. I'm not very good at that. I'm glad you're laughing. Oh. Jerry Sethfield, Star Trek, Deep Seth 9, Great Wolf Seth. Seth's Bizarre Adventure. It sounds like you're saying Eppermodale. Eppermodale.
Because she's Scottish.
Gemma, just impersonate Jacob. You've been with a man for how long? You don't want to hear my English accent.
No, you don't. Well, I mean, you don't want to hear a Scottish accent. Like, I do my impression of people from, what was it, like Northern Scotland. Hello, I'm Northern Scottish Gemma now. The only difference is I'm clenching my teeth now. This is a totally different accent. Och no. We got 3 sizes up here. We got wee, not so wee, and friggin' huge.
I can only do northern accent, and I can't. That's the only one I can do.
Can't do any accents. You can't even be Scottish, Gemma.
I am Scottish.
But you're bad at it.
I'm not.
Well, how sober are you right now? Clearly you're bad at being Scottish as well.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
pretty.
you're living with an Englishman instead of like ransacking the place and like putting him to like the sword. You're really bad at being Scottish.
No. Yeah, I remember when I was like that. You're dating an Englishman. You're a disgrace. You know, he's the enemy. I'm so Seth machine. Gemma did nothing wrong.
Seth on the beach? Or did you make like vague like jokes with this? Revenge of the Seth.
I will send $200 super chat if you do an English accent.
Well, if he's willing to give it, then do it. Do it for the money. Money up front, Bean Daddy. Apparently, Bean Daddy Mandela said he'll give us $200 if Gemma does an English accent.
You got more money than sense, mate. What's wrong with you? Right, Gemma.
I mean, you're right. You don't need any money. You're perfectly financially solvent, aren't you?
Gemma, there's a dilemma here. There's a Gemma dilemma. I've got you a sandwich.
A Gemma lemma.
And it's going straight in the bin now. She said it, and then he just looked at it with disgust and left the room.
I've got you a sandwich, but it's the type of sandwich that's probably going to make a mess, and you'll send it my computer. So
To get the
I will
outlet
eat the sandwich after bread.
It's not going to last.
It's got coleslaw in it, so
That's fine.
I'm just going to put it over here by the couch, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to wank in that sandwich.
Please don't.
Just try. I'm going to have sex with that sandwich. Just try and stop me. I own this house now.
Have sex with this fire.
I was
Give it a reach
I
out.
was like,
Well, my penis hurts, and I don't know if I'm doing this right.
I was like, you know, like the reason, like I have control over Jacob, and one he was like, right, what are you taking him out here for in the middle of the woods? Well, I want you to do some weird sex thing, like, oh god, I'm gonna have sex. No, you see this campfire? Yeah, have sex with it. What? Have sex with the campfire? Okay. Oh god, this paper. No, Jacob, give it a reach around.
just naked on fire, basically. It's like, well, I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm not sure I'm doing this right.
I burnt my dick and my two of my fingers. Oh, 2 fingers, Jacob. You're adventurous.
I can only do northern accent. My accent just can't do.
Try an English accent. We'll get money. Well, you'll get money.
Oh Lord.
They're not going to, Gemma, they're not going to fucking pay you for doing an English accent. Like,
I know.
It's not going to happen.
It's worth you doing it in case. Have hope. Believe in the Bean Daddy that believes in you.
Believe in the... I'm not going to trust someone whose profile picture is an extreme close-up of Nelson Mandela. That's...
Now, within a fair speaking range, I tried to sound optimistic.
Jesus!
I can't do
It's
it.
worse than I remember.
Yeah.
Try throwing him away.
I can't.
You see, I've been Scottish for a long time, and I've built up a lot of pride. Turns out, I've been throwing pride away.
For the sake of, I can only do it. I can only do it. I can only be northern.
So just be northern then. It's still English.
Yeah. Now, within a fair speaking range, I tried to sound optimistic for the sake of Abby's emotional state.
Hey, Abby, were you at art class today?
I asked. Her boyfriend stepped in front of her to block my view and said, "Who's Seth?"
Are you the kid that called the other night?
I responded.
Yeah, we're...
Oh yeah, my voice. What was it for Abby again?
Oh, who the fucking cares? Abby has no personality.
Just ignore him, James. Abby said, mumbling loudly behind Seth.
No, Abby said mumbled loudly.
Abby said, mumbled loudly behind Seth.
Mumbled loudly? What are you talking about, woman?
Sarcastically, I am.
Right, that's all I'm gonna do with that because I've got as a character who's got the same voice. So
that was fluctuating a lot between actually Northern and like Birmingham, like.
Yeah, well there we go. Northern Birmingham, I can do. Seth looked back as if an arrow had just been plunged into his chest. Abby then walked around him, looking
Matt
only
looks like he's given up on life. Like he's just had. Like at this point, he's like, you know what, fuck it. Just
Can we go back
just
to...
put the bullet in my head now.
Can we go back to the better talk about Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble spit roasting the irate gamer? I really hope people keep turning in just as...
every time you say that, a new member of the chat shows, hey fellas, let's go. By the Pope.
Like, someone's just saying like, what the fuck? Why have I not heard of this channel before? Trousers down, dick out. When they can talk about like some sort of erotic.
Oh, they've been bait and switched again. It's just fucking Onision, what a cock block.
Someone's into like really obscure erotic fan fiction. It's like, oh man, I've always wanted to see the fucking, sex, crossover between fucking Naruto and Mark Lamar. You make it fucking
Abby.
Anyone who knows who the fuck Mark Lamar is?
Yes, I know who Mark Lamar
I know who
is.
you are. I know, but I'm guessing like majority of our audience won't know who the fuck that is.
Abby then walked around him, looking only at me.
Erotic fanfiction of Mark Lamar. I can picture like
He's just sitting behind a desk.
Exactly. I can picture him like him really love struck though, like really cute art of him on a date with Naruto.
I can see him on a date with Simon Amstel.
Like on a dinner date with Naruto.
Well, it's because you don't need to. Because you can never picture his legs. He's always sitting behind a desk.
You guys are only on the 13th page of the book.
No, it's the book's fault. If the book could just be better.
Right. Abby then walked around him, looking only at me, and said, "My old boss is calling me."
Do you want to take that?
No, I'm not speaking to Judy.
Put her on the stream.
Yeah.
Just like put her on speaker. Don't tell her she's like live in front of over 100 people.
Like, will you walk me? But then, but paused when she saw my face. Abby's facial expression changed quickly to shock as she asked in an alarmed tone, "What happened?" Her boyfriend busted out laughing.
Busted a nut. All over his face.
All over Barney Rubble. He's just been taking it.
Alright, so... More adding to the audio. Okay, so Alright Gamer is currently Eiffel Towered by Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. Well, Kanye West watches from the cover. Well, outside
R. Kelly's watching from the cover.
Yeah, R. Kelly. Well, Mark Lamar and Naruto are passing by, and then suddenly Seth from Emmerdale Farm comes in and nuts and sneaks up behind Barney Rubble.
Where?
It becomes like an enormous pile of bodies. At the very top, the king of the pile of flesh. It's just Seth Armstrong with one of those old-fashioned beer mugs with the handle. Just, all right then, what's this all about here? Give your balls a tickle, would you?
Okay, can you definitely use that as Seth's voice, please?
Oh, you didn't say this, did you? Get wrecked by Jason. He didn't even fight back. I would have had that jock prick choking in his own blood in seconds. But you just took a beating like a...
Abby interrupted, screaming, "Shut up, Seth, you sadistic freak!" Seth's grin turned into a scowl. Seth Green.
Silence, female!
He rapidly stepped towards her, so I blocked his path by stepping in front of him. Seth looked more mortified than I had ever seen a person get.
So, I can't even remember what the fuck this guy's Onision's character's called. Like, John, James? James only uses his awesome power for good to defend others.
In such a short time knowing him, I could see he had a number of mental and emotional issues, more so than I understood. Seth didn't even try to get past me to Abby. He let his voice reach her with his screams.
Bruh! You're...
Oh, sorry, I just Sorry, I didn't care.
You're not caring about a story.
You have no... I forgot the voice now. You have no respect after what I've done for you.
Abby replied. I'm sick of this, Seth. I want nothing to do with you. Her voice cracked as Seth screamed once more.
If you're ending this again,
He didn't know what to say, but...
I just felt like he's going to get angry and hop in his tractor and drive away.
He didn't know...
It's like made an incredibly slow exit.
Music
Sarah with 11 honking cars behind him.
Belting out music. I've got a brand new combine harvester.
He didn't know what to say, but in his eyes I could see a deep, intense hatred. When I looked in most people's eyes, I saw all kinds of things, but in him there was only anger and pain. His hands were shaking furiously, his breathing noticeably irregular. He was losing it. Abby still refused to look at Seth as he threw his tantrum. He yelled.
I've lost where we are, sorry. Fine! Be with a guy who can't even... He's pretending to Jeff the Killer. Be with a guy who can't even protect himself. Idiot!
Seth got into his car. Seth got into his tractor and Abby tightly grabbed my arm. Her eyes remained closed like she was scared, hiding in a shell. She jumped at the sound of Seth slamming his tractor door. Recklessly, Seth floored the gas pedal and his
Slowly!
His tractor lurched forward, barely missing Abby and me as he pulled out of the parking lot.
Playing music all the way.
And stop it there.
Yeah. Abby stood silently by with her eyes still closed. I didn't know how to act in a situation like this. Trying not to make things worse, I just said...
You single tonight? So you're single now? Hey baby, ever want to kiss a guy with a broken tooth? Wait, no, I got one. So, how old are you again?
I will walk you home to answer your question.
Abby opened her eyes but remained silent. She nodded. We had been walking for a while, every step making us feel like we were slightly further from our problems. She finally spoke. So I was in art class and I saw you cut up bear.
That is a great quote to be taken out of, like, you know. Onision's great. So I saw you in art class cutting up a bear. What?
The thing is, like, it's not like she knew what the name of the bear was, so it's just, I saw you cut up bear.
That's your cut up bear.
I saw your cut up bear. I thought you said, I saw you cut up bear. I responded.
Who is driving? Bear is driving. How can this be? Because he's cut up.
Cope?
I responded, yeah, creepy right. Maybe it was a foobar idea.
She laughed a little. Yeah, I guess we're both kind of weird. I was all game for it. I softly laughed as I began to feel raindrops hitting my arms and neck. Cope?
I hear running is just as bad as walking in the rain.
It's just turned into Trump.
I don't know.
Oh, he doesn't do fucking New Speak a New Line, that's why.
Yeah. All right. I hear running is just as bad as walking in the rain, I said.
So yeah, that was me.
And then I said,
All
right.
You.
All right. You get just as wet? She replied.
Yeah, something like that. It's like the harder you try to fix some problems, the worse they get.
I impulsively asked to confirm what I had earlier seen.
Is he actually going to ask, are you single now?
Cope?
Cope, stop looking at that.
Damn it, you made me fucking do a typo.
Good.
I'm trying to write things in the chat because this isn't interesting to me any longer.
Swap places, Gemma. This is why you shouldn't let him, you know, not... This is why
I was perfectly happy to read, and you were like, oh, I'm Gemma, and shall I read? Because I'm more important than everyone else.
That was her exact words.
Yeah, I think that's what she said. So, chat, you'll want to hear me read, right? Instead of this guy.
Alright, then read then.
That was, well, you know. Nobody cared about the channel before me, because I'm Gemma. I don't want to read now. If I can carry on.
No.
But it's your line.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No. Fine. So your Seth is...
She interrupted. hopefully soon coming completely out of my life. My curiosity overtook me, I
Right,
asked.
so I'll give you money.
What happened?
She frowned and said,
Roman Smith says Thomas was way more charming than this guy.
And he's a killer. And he killed the toppler.
other than that was happening in the parking lot, I responded.
Jacob's not looking. So.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at the screen.
Yeah.
Really, probably taking the place of the guy who reads most of the lines was a bad idea, Gemma.
Yeah, well, I'm okay. I can go back to where my seat now.
Yeah.
I was only one to read for a bit.
Well,
Yeah, can we swap? Have your sandwich? Oh, I'm thirsty now.
and Jacob left the room. Okay, time for me to take over. At that point, Optimus Prime, jumping out from behind a bush, told Greg that he was the last starfighter.
Ow.
Told you sitting down would be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, sandwich break, everyone. We'll find out what happened to Optimus Prime later.
Right, where are we?
Let's see. Something about running in the rain, pina coladas.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's not if you're gonna shorten "don't know" to "dunno." It's a "u." It's a "dunno," not.
So he
dunno.
can't even shorten words.
Yeah, he can't
properly.
even use like little like slang terms properly. I mean, I don't know. You're right, Gemma.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat.
Okay. It's like you look genuinely steamed over the joke thing that happened, and now I'm confused.
No, I hurt myself when I sat down.
Yeah, she's like, steamed hams.
Don't forget your sandwich, by the way. Oh, there's also dark chocolate if you want some. Don't say anything you don't want to. She stared at her feet.
There's also Jaffa cakes.
As I did. I knew it was going to be a good night. Quinto Tarancelino would like to know your location. I noticed her makeup was running. Shortly after, she noticed too and began to rush us getting home. Walking faster, she said,
Hey.
What's wrong with you?
That's not what she said. She said this.
I really don't want you to see me like this. I'm sorry.
She continued to rush.
Without the makeup, I look so young and immature. I don't.
Without the makeup, when I speak, it'll sound like I'm eating. She continued to rush slightly ahead of me. I stopped walking and said, Hey. She slowed down and stopped, still facing away from me. We stood in the rain for only a few seconds before she asked.
You think makeup really helps anyone?
I replied, still looking at her back. I think it helps us forget what we don't want to remember. It lets us pretend we're
Gemma's choking on her fucking sandwich from that line.
I think it helps us forget what we don't want to remember. It lets us pretend we're a little more perfect than we really are. She laughed just like,
who's this
like writing self-inserts. She laughed sadly and said,
That's one gay way to put it.
I smiled and replied, Makeup is just makeup and skin is just skin. It is what it is. I have a very high IQ.
See, if
No
someone-
wonder he got beaten up. Do you know what I mean? Like, he walks around saying incredibly dumb shit like this.
So, it wasn't the fact that he wasn't like he got beaten up because like the piss boy, what's his name, was like he was like, hey, no one wants you here, and he beat him up because he's like, no, it's just like, wait a minute, he just targeted like, that's Onion Boy in the class. So like he got beaten up because he drew attention to himself.
Abby looked up at the rain for a moment and then down at the ground again. She then turned around with her rain-soaked face revealing what she was hiding under her makeup.
A dick.
Standing before just her face was just a big thing. She just looked like Watto.
Yeah, she has a dick nose.
Yeah, she's just Watto.
Yeah.
Outlanders, they come to my school, they mess it up.
Right, so Gemma, you've been fired from doing the voice of girl. I can't remember her name. The story's named after her, but she's now girl. It's now one. So, a giant onion who cries a lot is in love with an onion who is just broken up from Farmer Seth.
Abby
who
looked
just got beaten up by R. Kelly. Fan up, please.
Standing before her in the rain, looking at the results of what she had suffered, it broke my heart. Abby wasn't worried about her makeup running for the reason I thought. She was just afraid of what I would think when I saw the bruises on her face. Some just like mine, because everything is about me.
It's like, haha, I've seen her bruises too. That means another victim. Ha ha ha. I can beat her up now. Do you see them?
She asked with a quiver in her voice. Without restraint, I responded with the first thing that came to my mind. I see beautiful girl. not I see a beautiful girl, just I see beautiful. He's an Indian on Facebook. Forgive me. I'm not doing that voice. I see beautiful girl who I very much enjoy walking with in the rain.
Right, so I know this is supposed to be like...
Sexy do you have, boyfriend?
Yeah, okay, so I know...
Send feet.
I know this is supposed to be like, you know, like, oh, I don't, like, even, you know, like, even I can see through the bruise and see the beauty of the... No, this just makes me think, like, I'm really into beaten chicks. I can't get a chubby until I see a chick with at least, like, a broken nose.
Despite her face being covered in falling drops of water, I could clearly see tears fall from her eyes. Her head fell forwards as she began to shake, her tears falling almost in sync with the rain. What does that even mean? I walked up to her and put my arm around her side and walked with her the rest of the way home. As we got to her doorstep, I said, I'm just 7 letters away. Call me if you need anything, okay? She smiled and nodded.
See you tomorrow?
She asked. I replied, I got suspended for 2 days. She looked offended.
Wow, punishing the guy who got beat up. Classy.
Yeah, it's also completely unrealistic and stupid. I responded...
Also, like, I just realised, he said, like, you know, I'm only 7 letters away, so he's cunt ass. Is that the best way to describe it, Greg? Cunt ass?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I pushed him back. She replied... She replied...
We eating a sandwich.
I was going to say, like, knowing Greg is just like, mouth already around my erect teenage cock.
Enormous. You left out enormous.
Enormous.
It's clearly not hard enough.
Oh, I didn't notice what the line was. But I was fully erect. I laughed sadly.
Roughly the size of a bomb.
As she unexpectedly wrapped her arms around me and gave me a reach around.
After the 17 hours of sex, I was flagging, so she just jammed straight on my love button.
Love button! It wasn't hard enough. What I needed was a little extra push. So they just laid on the old prostate there. Despite it being so cold...
Her fingers!
Despite it being freezing cold, I was still stone hard.
Despite it being so cold and her being soaked.
The raindrops, like when the raindrops hit my penis, they just burst into steam.
Despite it being so cold,
radiating heat and love,
and her being soaked, it was the warmest hug I had ever received. I hugged her back, said goodbye, and walked home with a huge smile on my face.
And the stain in the front of my trousers.
Bruises and all. End of chapter 2.
Are we going to go for chapter 3 or?
I don't think we should.
We started about 5. That was an hour and a half.
That's like.
So do you want to chat for a bit?
Yeah, we'll chat. We'll do what we did last time. We'll just chat to the people in the stream chat for a while, and then we'll make a move. Oh, that was bad. That was really bad.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're only now starting chapter 3. We're not even a quarter of the way into it.
So we still
like a sixth of the way into it.
Oh, so you ended it. So if we can keep going with the.
No, we're still on.
Oh, okay.
Stream's still on. See? Ooh, little fucking Phantom Zone situation, yeah?
Mind the gap.
Oh, so you ended it, so if we can keep going with it. No, we're still on.
I don't believe that guy. Alright, so chat, what did you think so far of part 2 of, like, I don't know, Flowers for Algernon? What were we reading again?
By the way, I think for some reason my phone kept deleting a certain comment.
I thought somebody was being a prick.
No, it just kept deleting it by mistake.
There is no train anymore. You've destroyed it. It's just like, what? Yeah. So I mean, this. So he was an adult when he wrote this too. I mean, he didn't write this. He wrote this from the perspective of a high school student, but he was not himself in high school when he wrote this. What year was this written? Does it say? Look at this! Look at this cover art. Just awful. And like he doesn't even use his name.
This is seriously just a fucking creepypasta we find on Wattpad. Look at it.
I love that it's written by Onision. It looks like Omision as well, or
Omission.
Ohision. Like, it just looks bad.
He was only physically an adult.
Stones to Abbigale. I hate the way he spells Abbigale. I don't know why it's made of blood. Like, and when apparently he's not a serial killer. Like, even though it's written like he is. Yeah, so I don't know. Does anyone know what year this came out?
2015?
Really? It's that recent?
Yeah.
I thought this was like from like 2007 or something.
No, I'm pretty sure it was even probably like, let me have a look.
2019? Jesus.
Basically, I'm just trying to figure out how old he was when he wrote this.
Alright, hold on, I'll look it up. Yeah, originally published the 29th of March 2015.
2015. And how old is Onision?
He is 35 this year.
35 this year. Yeah, so he was 30 then.
Mhm.
He was 30 years old when he wrote this.
Yep.
And how old was the little girl?
Yeah, he was right. Yeah, he was writing this edgy teenage garbage at the age of 30. This is embarrassing. If you're writing like this at 21, you should be ashamed of yourself. This is embarrassing.
I've said it before. This is such a creepypasta, isn't it?
Yeah, it completely is. That's why we're doing it on Back Creepypasta. Like, I didn't bother making this a separate segment. We're still calling it
I thought you were just being lazy and you just like, oh, we're going to read Onission's shitty book and just call it about, a creepypasta.
No, it is one. Like, it is exactly like a creepypasta, just longer.
Yeah, at least, at least all the creepypastas that are like this have been a lot shorter.
He writes teenage sex scenes in it, and he was 30 when he wrote it. I mean, you have to wonder what kind of Stephen King energy this is going to give off later. There's sex scenes in it, so that we may skip over those. We may not. I mean, it depends. It depends how gross they are.
If we can edit so it's funny.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I don't really care, because we'll say really offensive shit. I don't really care about that. But
like the N-word.
yeah,
but it's okay because we've got 5 guys. 5 black guys.
Yeah, 5 black guys who say it's okay. Alpha!
It turns out that 3 of them were just like our white mates in blackface, which made it worse actually.
Yeah, who'd have saw that coming? They were all just various stages, just various photos of Justin Trudeau in different blackface costumes. He must have done at least 5. Like, are there any more pictures of you, Mr. Trudeau? I don't know. Do you have some? Yeah, this was awful. We'll probably do another one next week. Another episode of...
I'm always free on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, we'll probably do Stones to Abbigale Part 3. What I would really like to do is get Toby in for the next one, because he is in the cool little picture we've got for it.
And he is technically a member of the crew.
Yeah, I mean, people might have forgotten. He is still a member of the cast. So
I'm pretty sure we've got like a creepypasta somewhere in like the depths of like record that actually has him in it.
Yeah.
But I haven't actually... I think I saw him like once a couple of weeks ago, like just before I was leaving. Because he has a job that's about a half-hour away and then an hour's walk from that.
Isn't he closer to you, though?
Yeah, he is. Like,
You should be like,
he might... Yeah, I might be able to offer him a spare room. Like, start charging him rent.
Let me remind everyone, there's 2 other books, and they are much worse.
Yeah, someone has offered me the PDFs of them on Twitter, and I was like, well...
And you jump for joy.
I was like, I'll let you know if we need them.
This is one of those...
If you're still a fan by the time we finish reading this one...
Well, one of the things that always seems to happen is we always say no to that kind of stuff, and then we end up doing it anyway. Like, with Mario, we ended up doing the entire trilogy, even though they were like, oh, Mario 2's in the works. Guess I won't be reading that anytime soon. And then we did the whole trilogy, and the same with Jeff the Killer. Like, Jeff is back, coming June never, and then we ended up reading it. So I think a lot of the time we'll just, like, It's like, yeah, let's
We'll bow to peer pressure.
Yeah, it's also just like, let's just talk about this giant fucking African elephant sitting in our living room.
I'll take offence to that.
Is it because I looked directly at your stomach when I said African elephants?
No, it's because of my huge penis-like trunk.
Ah, a huge penis-like trunk.
Yeah, I meant to say trunk-like penis, but I'm not backing down. I'm gonna fucking own it. Fan up, please. Can I just say again how much I like our the picture of us chopping onions?
It's very good.
I like it a lot.
Slime Scorpion. That was Slime Scorpion, was it?
Yeah.
Slime Scorpion, you do good work.
The surgery was a success.
That's why I taught. That's why Matt was in.
Yeah,
in the-
it was all a cover, Apple.
Yeah.
Just to get a massive phallic trunk attached to his face.
Look at my face. Like I want it from my back. I don't even want a tail. I want it coming up from my shoulder blades. I want to be total for it. I want an elephant head attached to between my shoulder blades and its trunk cut off and a giant prehensile penis. That may be a Silent Hill boss.
Bean Daddy's fan art was also very good. It's on Facebook. For
Yes,
those
if
of
you want to check out more of the really cool fan art we have, actually, you can follow us on Facebook. There's a link in the description, and we post as much of the fan art as we can. Unless it's total shit. No, we post a lot of the fan art. Some of it probably, some probably out there we never noticed, but we've posted what we've got on. There's an album just called Fan Art. You can have a look at that. Take a look at all the cool stuff. So there you go. The Bean Daddy one was really funny. I thought it was like a big scene of us all just in different situations. Which
Toby drinking lemonade.
Yeah.
They kept doing that joke for like 3 weeks before I realised what it was referencing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Toby was just either making a stupid joke or having a stroke. Because, like him going, oh, lemonade drink. Because, he's a fucking deviant sitting in the corner in like uncooked waffles. Was that even? Is that on like any? Have we got that on like any recording or anything like that?
Was that the day we read the story with racist mole?
I don't know. It wasn't because that had Etten and his buddy round.
I was gonna say I'm sure Ayrton was there for no context waffles though.
I don't think he was.
He was there for no context waffles.
Was he?
Because I remember leaving for work and you guys drank all my gin.
Oh, that was when you had a drinking problem.
You guys drank all my gin. As in, there was more than just Coke, and I came back and there was nothing left. And I
had a bit of gin in some Fanta.
Yes, and I was upset.
I don't think that was, but you might be right. I've got a crap memory. I don't. It may have been Toby just like squatting in the corner of the room, eating waffles.
Yeah, he was just eating fucking Belgian dessert waffles.
Straight,
not toasted or anything, nothing added, straight out of the fucking bag.
And we have been giving him shit about it for what?
Because it's weird.
3 years. I'm not saying it's not. I want to bring it up at every opportunity. I want someone to possibly do some sort of fan-based art of it, making maybe of Toby being like a sort of, like Schmeagol sort of like what's it, Gollum-esque thing with his precious, which is just waffles.
Yeah, and I came back from that shift wanting my gin because I was working all day at the supermarket and it was gone. Yes, I'm still annoyed about that.
We gave him so much. It's like, Toby, use the fucking toaster.
It's just gross. Like, what's got to be wrong with you?
It's like it was in our house. The toaster was there.
Yeah, literally, like our living room is next to the kitchen. It's the next room. It takes basically zero effort to go into the kitchen and toast some waffles. Fucking disgusting.
I'm surprised you.
I think we just talk about this now. Fuck it. Like,
I'm surprised you even talk about him being in your house.
Thank you guys so much for coming. It's been a really, really good stream. At least in my opinion. I hope you guys have thought so too. I mean, good numbers and everything.
You got like 120 at some point.
And thank you to those who super chatted. It's always very nice.
Yeah, thanks to like all of you. Like it's either evening in London or the middle of the day in America, and we got 100 odd people to listen to us mainly talk about Flintstone and Barney Rubble,
Double T,
cartoons. Double teaming. Yeah, basically, that wasn't the weird fanficky orgy we came up with. Are you actually typing in Fred Flintstone, Barney Rubble?
No.
Alright. One of them's got Mario.
The boy. No, I don't see it. He doesn't look like Mario. He looks
No, he
like,
doesn't.
He looks like the telephone man. Hang on.
The mustache isn't right, and that's clearly too...
Sorry, it's hard to type because my fucking cable's in the way.
Cable is a special name for his penis. He just flopped onto the keyboard.
What?
Let's see.
Just a bunch of Indians, apparently.
Telephone guy, Link's Awakening. Is he called the telephone guy?
I don't remember his name, but surely they'd know who I mean.
No, probably not. Guy. Clearly not. A Link's Awakening.
Phone man, Link's Awakening.
No.
Is it just not using Link's Awakening?
Maybe you just need to actually know the character's name.
I don't know his fucking name. Like, why would I remember that? I remember that he was the guy who you call on the phone.
Check the web.
The web?
Check the Intertrons.
Gee, what are you?
Right, so, from the 90s.
I was going to say, this is an early episode of Buffy, and I'm Willow, and you're one of the other characters, is what's happened there. Jacob, check on the web if you can find any information about this demon. This onion monster. Does anybody know what the guy, the phone guy is called? The shy guy with the phone. Ulrira, apparently his name is. I hope that's who I'm thinking of.
Just get loads of porn.
Ulrira. And like, there's a photo of him where like Link's like running away. See, that's how he looks in the new one. I want to see him in the original. Ulrira photo. Game Boy. This is so fucking specific. This image I'm after.
Go back and just look up the him on the wiki because he's going to find him on the wiki. So
this will do. I mean, you know, that's how he looks nowadays. But like on the Game Boy more so. But that's some serious. What is this shit? By the way, it's just some guy with a fucking serious facial disfigurement there.
What the fuck was that? Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is who I think of when I see Seth Armstrong as this guy.
But not that guy.
But the original from the Game Boy. Because remember, like you had the photos. There were photographs in that game. They were like a bit more dynamic than obviously the simple graphics. So it'd be like Old Man Ulrira Game Boy version. Don't know why that did that on
you
my
hit the caps
thing.
locks at some point.
I must have, but God, like this fucking image search is terrible. So yeah, it's one of these pictures that you can get, but of Old Man Ulrira, and it always made me think of. That's always what I thought of whenever I saw Seth Armstrong, and I have like very, very intense attachments to the character of Seth Armstrong now because of it. How did you fucking find that?
Because I'm the best.
Yeah.
Around.
Probably because you're looking on Google and not fucking DuckDuckGo.
Mm-hmm.
Which I use because I like my privacy, but it's just not very good.
Look up, press the buttons, who is the bucket mouse?
It's alright, I've looked at it now. Nobody cares enough. I'm going to say goodnight. This is pointless. See you next time for more of this. We're going to do
Bye,
another one of
people
these.
of the internet.
Look at that. Woo! Make it all big so you can appreciate it.
Next time Toby might be there, but probably not. He's got a job.
He probably won't be.
Working down the docks doing favours for sailors.
But there's a slim chance he'll be
He's
there.
sewing them buttons.